No one teaches you when you're young, hungry, and desperately trying to prove your worth to the world. Something that goes against everything social media promotes, everything the culture of performative success glorifies, everything you, the young, were taught about visibility, validation, and winning. This new year, at this threshold we're approaching, your silence will become the strongest tool you have. Not your words, not your explanations, not your justifications, not your arguments, and not even your perfectly crafted responses, but silence. Your ability to keep your mouth shut at the very moment when every cell in your body is begging you to speak. Your ability not to waste energy when others try to pull you into their chaos. Your ability to let people misunderstand you, misinterpret you, judge you, create entire narratives about you, while you keep moving forward without commenting on anything. I'm not talking about weakness. I'm not talking about passivity or letting people walk over you. I'm talking about something far more subtle and mature. I'm talking about a strength that comes from emotional wisdom, from a deep understanding of human psychology, so deep that you no longer feel the need to react to every provocation, every opinion, every attempt to drag you into drama that does nothing for your life. Let me say it plainly. People who talk the most usually achieve the least. People who constantly explain themselves, defend their decisions, argue with strangers online, prove their worth to those who don't matter. These are the same people who wake up 5 years later wondering why their life hasn't changed. They spent all their energy on noise. They confused activity with progress. They mistook loudness for significance. I used to be one of them. I thought I had to respond to everything. Someone questioned my decision, I already had a 10-paragraph answer ready. Someone criticized my work, I spent hours crafting the perfect reply. Someone misunderstood my intentions, I felt an almost physical need to set the record straight immediately. I was exhausted from trying to control narratives that were never mine to control. And here's what no one tells you about silence. It makes people incredibly uncomfortable. When you stop explaining yourself, when you stop defending your choices, when you stop reacting to attempts to provoke you, people get confused. They're used to getting a reaction, attention, emotional feedback. And when that doesn't happen, your silence starts to unsettle them. They push harder, speak harsher, try new tactics just to make you break the silence. And if you don't, if you remain still and calm, they begin to doubt themselves. Think of the last serious conflict in your life. Did you win because you had better arguments, or did you keep your composure while the other person lost theirs? Did you change their mind with logic, or did your refusal to feed their emotions make the situation obvious? Most conflicts aren't about words at all. They're about state. The one who can remain calm and silent while the other person falls apart emotionally wins long before the first word is spoken. I've seen this scenario hundreds of times. Someone sends a message clearly designed to provoke me. Before, I would take the bait immediately, spend hours crafting a response, rehearse the dialogue in my head, prepare for victory. Today, I read the message, feel the first wave of irritation, and consciously choose to do nothing. I don't block, I don't reply, I don't even acknowledge it. I simply continue living. And you know what happens next? They write again, then again. They comment on old posts. They ask my acquaintances whether I saw their message. My silence throws them off balance because they expected a reaction. They expected to occupy space in my mind. And when they realize that didn't happen, that they were given nothing to work with, it destroys them from the inside. This is what I mean when I say silence is a weapon, not a game, not manipulation. It's the understanding that your attention is valuable, your energy is limited, and not everyone deserves access to it. Some people are energetically drained. They survive by extracting reactions, focus, and emotions from others. And when you refuse to participate in that exchange, you reclaim an enormous amount of power. Here's what I've noticed about truly successful people. Not the ones performing success on social media, the real ones. They are quiet, surprisingly quiet when it comes to their actual work. They don't announce their plans, they don't share their strategies, they don't document every step for approval. They're too busy building to care who's watching, who believes, or who doubts. I know a man who built a billion-dollar business and didn't mention it on social media for 3 years after the company had already become stable. 3 years. While others were posting dreams, intentions, and their journey, he worked in silence, learning, adapting, failing, and winning without an audience. When he finally shared it, people were shocked. They asked, "Why didn't you say anything?" The answer was simple. He was too busy working to talk about it. That is the level of discipline I'm talking about, a level of emotional control and strategic silence that separates those who actually do from those who only talk about what they will do. When you learn to move in silence, you prevent countless problems before they even appear. You don't need to answer questions, you don't need to manage other people's opinions, you don't need to justify your path. You only need to do the work. And now, I'll say something that may feel uncomfortable. Sometimes the people who most need your silence are the ones closest to you. I'm not talking about coldness or detachment. I'm talking about the fact that not everything needs to be shared, even with those you love. Not everyone can handle your growth. Not everyone can celebrate your victories without feeling threatened. Not everyone has the emotional capacity to support your dreams without projecting their own fears onto them. This doesn't make them bad, it makes them human. But it means you must be selective about what you share and with whom. I learned this the hard way. For years, my mind never stopped. I constantly analyzed, commented, replayed scenarios. Even when I was silent on the outside, inside, I was far from quiet. My mind endlessly created stories, rehearsed conversations, prepared defenses against attacks that might never come. Learning to quiet that internal noise was harder than learning to stop speaking out loud, but it became the most transformative experience of my life. When I finally learned to simply be with myself without that constant inner dialogue, clarity arrived. Not the clarity of, I know all the answers, but the clarity of seeing reality as it is, without the distortion of my own narrative. Meditation helped me with this. Not the Instagram version, not meditation as an aesthetic or a brand, but actually sitting in silence and observing thoughts without identifying with them. At first, it's extremely uncomfortable. The mind doesn't want to quiet down. It's used to being the main show. But with practice, pauses appear between thoughts, and you begin to understand you are not your thoughts. You are the awareness beneath them. And in those rare moments of true inner silence, you realize something. The constant internal noise can fade. And it is this inner silence that makes outer silence strategic rather than reactive. When you are calm inside, silence is a choice of strength. When you are chaotic inside, silence is just a suppressed reaction. These are fundamentally different things. Strategic silence is born from inner peace. It is intentional. It is precise. It is rooted in self-control and emotional intelligence, and it changes everything. Reactive silence is born from fear, resentment, or passive aggression. It is forced, it is unstable, it is a compressed spring waiting to snap. The goal is not to never speak. The goal is to speak only when your words truly add something, only when they are meaningful, only when silence serves you less than speech. In most cases, silence works better, but not always. And an important part of this path is learning to distinguish one from the other. There are moments when speaking is absolutely necessary, when your values are at stake, when someone you love is suffering, when a lie is unfolding right in front of you. Silence is not about being a doormat, it's about discernment, about understanding that your voice is a tool, and any tool is most effective when used precisely and with intention. I've had to speak in moments when it would have been much easier to stay silent. I've had to enter difficult conversations I would have preferred to avoid. But the difference was the source. Those words came from choice, not impulse. I spoke not because I was tense or trying to prove something. I spoke because the situation truly required it. When you act from that state, even your hard words sound different. There is no aggression, no defensiveness. There is clarity. You simply name what needs to be named without attaching yourself to how it will be received. This is completely different from arguing, persuading, or trying to be right. Let me tell you what I've noticed about people who haven't yet mastered this skill. They are constantly in conflict. They are always explaining themselves, always defending. Their life is an endless chain of arguments, misunderstandings, and drama. They believe the problem is other people. They think they're surrounded by difficult personalities, that they're just unlucky with coworkers, that their relationships are toxic. But they don't see the most important thing. They themselves are the common denominator. They bring the energy of constant engagement into every situation. They fall into every trap, react to every provocation, make themselves available for any drama. And life is always ready to give you exactly what you're open to. When I lived like that, I was constantly exhausted. I didn't understand why everything felt so difficult, why every day felt like a battle. The reason was simple. I was creating those battles everywhere I went. I was too quick to react, too ready to defend myself, too incapable of simply letting go. I generated conflict even where none was needed. The turning point didn't happen instantly. It came gradually. I started noticing patterns, the same situations, the same people, the same reactions, my own. And I realized I have a choice in how I respond. I don't have to grab every opportunity to be right. I don't have to teach. I don't have to set everything straight. I began practicing what I call the 48-hour rule. If something happened that triggered me, if someone said something I wanted to respond to immediately, I gave myself 2 days. I could write a reply, but I didn't send it. I simply left it and waited. And you know what I discovered? In about 90% of cases, after 48 hours, I no longer cared. What seemed urgent, important, and worthy of my energy simply dissolved. The person had already moved on. The situation either resolved itself or turned out to be completely irrelevant to my life. About 10% of situations still mattered, and then I responded. But even in those cases, my response was different, not reactive, not emotional, but calm, measured, and clear. Because I had given myself time. This simple practice changed everything. It returned a huge amount of energy to me. It eliminated unnecessary conflicts. It helped me distinguish what truly matters from what my ego simply wanted to play with. Because the ego always wants engagement. The ego wants to be right. The ego wants to be noticed. The ego wants to defend itself from any disagreement. It is loud and almost always useless. The ability to distinguish the ego's desires from real needs is the key to strategic silence. I began treating my ego like a child. It throws tantrums, demands immediate attention, believes everything revolves around it. When someone criticizes what I do, my ego instantly wants to jump up and explain, justify, defend. But the wiser part of me, the part that grew through awareness, sees something else. It understands that most criticism says more about the critic than about me. When I let that wiser part lead, silence becomes natural. I don't need to defend myself from unfair accusations. I don't need to engage with projections of other people's problems. I can simply let it pass and stay focused on what I'm actually creating, not on commentary from the sidelines. This is especially important in our current cultural context. We live in a time when everyone feels obligated to have an opinion about everything, where your personal choices, your appearance, your lifestyle, your values are subject to public scrutiny and judgment from people you will never meet. If you try to respond to all of it, if you defend yourself from every judgment, if you let every troll or random opinion affect you, you will lose yourself. You will spend your life arguing with strangers online while your real life passes you by. I know people who are so stuck in online arguments, so consumed with defending themselves, so obsessed with what others say about them that they have completely lost the direction of their own lives. They wake up angry, spend the day angry, go to bed angry, and all of this because they never learned how to step out of the noise. Stepping out of the noise is not escaping the world, it is returning to yourself. When you stop reacting to everything, at first there is emptiness. The familiar background hum disappears, and it can feel scary. It feels like you're becoming less visible, but in reality, the opposite is happening. Silence creates space, and in that space, clarity and strong decisions are born. You begin to see what truly matters, which conversations deserve your time, and which are just noise seeking a reaction. People will think what they think anyway. The sooner you stop trying to control that, the freer you become. Strong people are not afraid of pauses or unfinished sentences. They know that if words are truly needed, the right moment will come. When you stop feeding chaos, it loses interest in you. You remain with your life, your growth, your focus. Silence stops being a technique and becomes a state. A freedom not to react, not to explain, not to prove. Your silence is not emptiness. It is the space where your real life is built. Let your silence work for you. If the idea of living without unnecessary noise and reactions resonates with you, subscribe to our channel, The Power of the New Me. Here, we talk about clarity, inner strength, and moving forward always.